have kids, have pets, be a fiber artist. It's fun. Hi everyone. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a subscriber who is returning, welcome back. And if you are a returning viewer and you're not subscribed, come on, hit that subscribe button. Anywho, I know that it has been a hot minute since I've been on to talk to you guys and to update you guys and all that jazz. So, I have numbers for you. But I have been on the sick side, so my voice got scratchy and then got squeaky and then got scratchy again, and it's getting better. So please do ignore the fact if I clear my throat or sniffle a little. I will try to keep that at a minimum. Anywho, so couple of times ago I told you guys that I was giving myself the challenge of using 20,000 yards in the year 2023. I have some updated numbers for you. I have since finished the pieces for my son's sweater and finished the pieces for a cardigan that I made myself. I still need to seam them, so they're technically not finished objects, but they are ready to be seamed, and I just need to stop procrastinating and actually get to seaming them. I will totally admit that seaming is not my favorite thing to do, but it happens and such. Another thing though that I had been working on through February was I was working on the granny squares to a granny square blanket that I am making, and I have 80 of these squares now to also sew together. So I don't know if that's considered a seam or not. For the length of time I've been knitting and crocheting, I think I would know that answer, but I don't. But so I rewind a little bit here. I was kind of thinking to myself that it was absolutely crazy that I'm sitting here thinking that I can get through 20,000 yards of yarn this year, on top of building my website and all that jazz. And so I'm like, maybe not. My daughter's trying to tell me that I should have done 30,000, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. That's going to be way too much. And so this is all stuff out of my personal stash for personal projects. This is not including any of the yardage of yarn that I'm working with to make custom orders or to make things to put on my website per se. So, that being said, I'm kind of kicking myself right now because I have some numbers for you. So in January, in finishing up my son's sweater and working on my cardigan, I ended up using 1,796 yards of yarn. And so that was a pretty good chunk out of what I needed to do. But then February came, and February is a shorter month, of course, and I've been working on all of these, and I ended up using 2,958 yards of yarn in just the month of February alone. So that got me to a grand total of 4,754 yards that I have already used in 2 months. Add that to the fact that I did manage to cast on my sweater. So if you've seen my shorts, I have a short where I'm saying that my sweater arrived, just some assembly required. This is what I have so far. It's from top down, so I should not have to worry too much about seaming, which is a plus. Um, and so far I have used 2 full skeins of yarn from that. So that gets me another 338 yards of yarn used. So far, not to mention I started another skein, but I haven't added that one in yet. So that gets me 5,092 yards plus that I have used. So I am already a quarter of the way done with my goal for the year of 2023. So I think it might just turn into how many yards can I use instead of yeah. So to go into my sweater a little bit more, it is a drops pattern from the Drops website. I am not using Drops yarn. I did a substitute. I will totally admit to that. Let me see if I can. I kind of went with the anti-pilling acrylic. And with that being said, it's nice and soft. It's soft to me, so I don't think I'm going to have that much problems wearing it. But if you don't, obviously, if you don't like acrylic yarn, it's not going to work. But the pattern, I'm just going to call this the Sea Breeze because that's what the name of the pattern translates out to, is Sea Breeze, from what I'm understanding. So that is what's been happening as far as projects that have been working out for me. As far as projects that have not been working out for me, as I mentioned before, I got the Temu yarn, and this is part of that. Here's the other one, so it still has the information on there as far as this yarn. I knew that it was just animal fiber, like just an animal fiber. We don't know what kind of animal fiber it is. It's kind of a question mark. So I decided I was going to try to make socks. And try is the key word. So I did get them to the point where the yarn was working out really well as far as 2 socks that matched, because I do my socks toe up, and 2 at a time. And so it kind of goes along with that, and don't like seaming, and it goes along with that whole, I don't want to sit here and have a whole bunch of have one sock done and then have to go back and do an entire sock. I just want them to be done. When I finish one, I want them both to be done. So I was happily knitting along, and I was working on the heel for the first sock. And for some reason, I missed a stitch, gained a stitch. I don't know what happened. Stitch counts were not correct. And so I'm like, okay, well, in doing I also wanted to see how sturdy the yarn was. So I was doing the swatches and pulling them out, and found out you could do that about 3 times before it broke. Which, I mean, animal fiber, it's not the worst yarn I've worked with. I have worked with a yarn that I just basically wanted to throw across the room because I wasn't even ripping it out. I was just sitting there knitting it, and it wanted to break constantly. So I give this at least a 2 because I did get a little bit farther than one shot. I was able to rip it out a few times and test it with a different size needle and rip it out again, and it held up. The problem though is that when I got to the heel, and I'm thinking, okay, I can just easily rip it and frog it and start over again or whatever, and that was not the case. It got completely tangled up and such. So I am putting this yarn aside, thinking that maybe I'll go back to it later and redo the yarn so then it's the same length, and there's two similar socks instead of the yarn pattern being messed up. So that is pretty much where I'm at right now. Today's been kind of a shorter day because I'm still not feeling like I'm feeling good, but I'm not sounding good. Kind of deal. But I'm hoping to the next time I am on here, I can show you my son's sweater and my cardigan, and hopefully the granny square blanket all done so you can see them. So today's kind of a shorter day, and I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, bye.